by Brock and a missed sack called by the head coach. So I should have called a sack. Drew Sharkey had the sack. I should have stopped it right then, but it turned out to be a long play, and it really deflated us a little bit defensively, and the offense took advantage of it, played hard for about a quarter and a half, and then went to halftime, and we lollygagged through the third quarter, which is not just a scrimmage issue. It's a game issue for us. You look back last year in our quarters, our third quarter was god-awful, and that one at Bozeman was the worst, and that's what cost us the Big Sky Championship. So we've got to be better at the 2/3 mark. And that's kind of up to me, and I noticed it again today. We got whipsawed, and we came back there in the fourth quarter and did okay, and missed a field goal in overtime because we took a sack. And if you take a sack in the red zone, that's the worst penalty there is. That's the worst mistake a football player can possibly ever make, taking a sack in the red zone. And it just highlights how far we are away at quarterback.
Are you happy?
I'm happy in a lot of ways. We're so mature. We can handle a lot of things. We do a lot of things right. And I know I'm happy that we've got 29 more practices before we play because our quarterback's going to need every rep.
But how good was Tyler today?
He had a great dominant day, and he's playing against a very good offensive front, and he really played well. He played the way I think he can play all the time. Sometimes Tyler, because of his demeanor, doesn't rise to the level he needs to be able to play at because he's such a wonderful person. He doesn't have the missing DNA that other great defensive linemen have that make him so mean and rough and tough all the time. So he's not Ndamukong Suh, he's the opposite. He's J.J. Watt, but he's got to play more like Ndamukong Suh.
How did he get this spark? We didn't play well today.
I don't know. Some days we walk down the ramp, and if he's bubbling, oh, look out. It's like watching the bull at the rodeo. If the bull's in there snorting, you're in trouble. If the bull's not snorting, man, the Cowboys are going to win.
The DN move, or moving him out to where he's not in the interior line, how big of an impact can that make for him?
Well, I think it's going to be awesome because he can really push past those tackles that are longer and not so burly. So I think it's a great move by our defense. Chris Edwards and Nico Taylor can hold the fort in the middle along with Robert Schwenke, who's one of the freshmen who was actually here today. Those guys can hold the fort in the middle while we push Tyler off the edge.
Talk to me about the crowd that was out here today.
Hey boys, I'm so excited to coach here, to have this facility, and to have this type of support. And I mean, that was fabulous, absolutely fabulous. And I'm so much in debt. I think the city of Pocatello and the university and the fans, everybody feels that they are a part of it now, and I hope they understand how astounded I am. Just fantastic.
As far as your running back depth, obviously it's nice to get Finney out there.
Yeah, well, X wasn't going to play,
yeah.
But Nico gets banged and can't go. Now we got to go X. You got to go get your Superman cape on. And he came back, and you can just see when he gets going and he starts playing, we just offensively just go because he's the jet.
Ja'Cory obviously had some more reps than usual with X being out a little bit, and is it? He did really well, especially this afternoon. I mean, is that more a tribute to him, or is that your offensive line? I guess
Ja'Cory's a very good player in his own right. This football team, though, is dominated by Xavier Finney. We've gotten to a plateau of maturity as a team and an organization that I hope we'll never recede from. And I don't mean it just on the football field, but in the locker room and in the weight room and in the training room and in the classroom. We're just so much more mature as a team. There are certain things now that I don't have to concern myself. I don't have to be teaching every single second. We can be going after the guys who don't realize their potential yet. And that's really what coaching has become for us now that we've reached this plateau.
Go ahead.
Quarterbacks over the entire spring, it seemed like they took some steps forward.
Got better miles, 100 miles to go. 100 miles to go. We don't hardly ever go catch, set, throw. We go catch, set, dance, throw. Every time we do that, it's a wasted, missed opportunity, every single time. And today I'd say we're about, at quarterback, less than 40% efficient in terms of our footwork and delivery of the ball. Less than 40%. And so that's after 15 practice. That should highlight, how hard it is to do what we ask you to do, and how much further and how much better I expect us to be.
Madison Mangum, obviously. How much does that change the offense? And
not really at all. We saw CJ step right in and play, and see that's why, because Madison he's not bulletproof.
Yeah.
And because he's not bulletproof, we have to have another co-starter, and CJ Hatchett's the co-starter and had a really nice day.
That was interesting. Brock was your most improved offensive player because he's a guy who's played obviously quite a bit and been a big time contributor. How's he improved?
He became a go-to guy today. In the years past, in plays past, he's been a big play guy, not a go-to guy. A go-to guy goes back to back plays, and I thought that was good for Brock, and he showed it during the spring. And of course, Brock also is in the China doll category, along with Madison, and they're breakable. They break, and so it was good for him to go every spring, start every day, and that's good to have Hagan behind him because eventually Brock's not going to be there. We know that, and so I have Brock and Hagan at the same spot gives us a punch counterpunch at a position that's vitally important.
I want to ask about root sports and you not getting any TV games. Does that matter to you, or does that bother you?
We'll be on every TV game in the playoffs. Be awesome.